Welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I'm Mike Witzak.
My name's Roy Farrell.
And today we have...
Sarah Gabriel.
All right. And Sarah, who are you with?
Keller Williams of Bluebell.
Awesome. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Hometown team.
That's it. That's it. We know a lot of familiar faces over there. And that's what you and I ran into you here. You had settlement at the office before. I think we had a mutual client at one point in time that maybe I pre-qualified.
Yes,
I don't know what they ended up doing, but so we've communicated a lot, and I've seen you popping up on my Instagram. Like, let's have Sarah on. I was like, we've had a bunch of people over at Bluebell on. I was like, we got to get her on. So
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks for showing up. I mean, we literally right before the camera started, we're like, it's tough to like get people to show up or like commit, and you're here, you're on time.
Realtors are notoriously bad about that.
No, you guys are totally, I've never had that experience.
Good.
But yeah, no, thank you for coming. Like you said that you just come by this way all the time too.
I do. Yeah. I live nearby. I live in Montgomery County. So
cool.
This is easy peasy.
Perfect.
It was easy for you.
That's good. Yeah. Cause you messaged me last night and you were like, hey, is this on Zoom or can we do, I was like, oh, I hope she can come in person. I was like,
the Zooms are fine. It's just like you don't kind of get in as well. Like you don't like communicate as well. Like we've done it with, I have a realtor
Tyler
out in California.
Right.
And there's no way that we can do it in person, and especially with two people plus him, like, kind of the timing of it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And up here, the Wi-Fi sucks too. So you'd like say something, we'd say something, and then we're like, oh no. But yeah, no, thank you again for coming in. So let's kind of get into, how long have you been doing real estate for?
So I've been a full-time real estate agent for 5 years, a little over 5 years.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And were you licensed prior and you did it part-time, or was it like, hey, this is going to be my new career, I'm kind of jumping into it?
I jumped right in.
Okay.
So my ex-husband was in real estate for 5 years before I got licensed.
Okay.
And so I kind of was exposed to real estate through him. And then the plan was that eventually I would get my license and join his team. I was doing all of the marketing for his team at that time because that's what my previous life was in marketing.
Okay.
And then in December of 2019, I quit my job in marketing. I went to real estate school and I wrapped up real estate school like first week of March 2020.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Two peas in a pod over here.
Yeah.
Perfect timing to start a new career. It was very much trial by fire because we couldn't do the job. But thankfully, my husband and I had invested in properties in the Poconos prior to that. And so I had actually 4 active Airbnbs in the Poconos. And during the beginning of COVID, you couldn't go anywhere except for a home that was just going to be you and your family.
You say that must have been perfect.
That was the only thing. So we had people, we were crazy. It was insane, the amount of people that were coming from New York and New Jersey and all over the place. They just need to get out of their 4 walls.
Especially in New York City where it was like really shut down and you have no space.
Exactly. So I'm so grateful that we had that set up ahead of time because that really carried me through until we were allowed to actually start practicing real estate normally again.
Wow. What a horrible time to start real estate. Great time to be an Airbnb though. That's a crazy story. Yeah. And were you guys like, did you go up there to do all the like cleaning afterwards and whatnot, or did you have people go?
So people reach out to me about doing Airbnbs a lot. And one of the main things I tell people is to have, a reliable crew up there that does the turnovers for you. Not everybody can do that right out of the gate, but I had 4 properties that were being turned over every 2 or 3 days. There's no way I could have gone up there and done it myself.
Job.
Especially after COVID, because the requirements for the cleaning were extremely strict. They had to do a lot of sanitizing that they didn't do before. That's just not my area of expertise.
Yeah.
So I had a great crew set up already, and they handled everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of, was that long-term rentals at that point? Short? Cool.
Short. Yeah. I've never really done long-term rentals up there. I've invested in Philly and had long-term rentals in this area, but up there it was just short-term. It would be weekends or week-long stays.
Yeah.
Wow.
The reason I asked is I have a friend who has a place in Belmar, and he bought it right around the time of COVID, and then you wouldn't think a beach place would have like long-term rentals, but for like basically the whole winter, people were coming at like leaving New York City and just being like, I'll take it for 6 months.
Yep.
And in
I
the winter down the shore, like you'll take anything you can get. And certainly something with 6 month lease, like you're not turning it over. You're not having to go up and clean. Like you got a tenant, you're making some money on it.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a relief to have those things set up ahead of time. And it was a relief for the people that were using them, that were using them.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's great though. And then, so since you've jumped in it, okay, so you started and got licensed in March of 2020. Then you had probably, a year of like just waiting to even start the job.
Almost. Yeah. Just about 6 months before I could really, really dive in.
Okay, so now you're 5 years in fully. How's everything been working out for you? How's it been going?
It's been great.
Okay.
I love this career. I love this industry. I'm really grateful that I'm in it because, like I said, my husband at the time, he was in it first, and I kind of was like, I don't know if I want to live that life.
Well, especially it's tough to have both household incomes coming from that.
Right. That was the big fear.
Sure.
I was kind of the stable one at the time. He had left a pension job with the VA to be a real estate agent. That was scary enough. At that time, our daughter was 2, maybe. So, I mean, you've got a toddler, you're leaving your full-time job, you're doing this job that we don't know how it's going to work. And then I'm going to leave my full-time job. Wow. So it was a little bit scary, but I'm so grateful that I took that leap because prior to being in real estate, I had never gotten to go to like a class party or a parade or anything for my children. Because I worked in an office, 5 days a week, and I just didn't have the flexibility to do that. And
back then there was no like work from home option like there is now.
I mean, it was, like maybe here and there, but definitely not before COVID. That was not as common. And then like I had a different idea of what real estate was before I was actually in it. I was like, I don't do sales. I'm not a salesperson. And that's so not what it is.
No.
And it really has allowed me to like show love to my clients in my ability to help them through a really stressful situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, like you said, I guess technically it's like a sales job, but it's not like you're selling, sure, the product, I guess, is the house, but really what you're selling is like, hey, you're trying to help a person get from point A to point B in one of the biggest purchases of their life. And the nicer of a person you are and the better you can help people do that, that's really what it comes down to. It's not like, hey, do this because I charge this much commission or I do this. Like, sure, that stuff all helps, but at the end of the day, you're really just helping these clients. So it's not as salesy as you think it is.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not selling any house. I'm really acting as a guide for people that are either, maybe they're buying a house for the first time. A lot of my clients are selling a house for the first time in like 40, 50 years.
Wow.
I work with a lot of seniors who have been in their home for a really long time. And the whole idea of moving and selling and what does this look like, it's so foreign and scary to them. So for me, being able to make that less of a fearsome type of idea and make it easier on them, connect them with trusted partners to help them. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, really. That's awesome.
For them, I imagine too, super emotional too. Like you're managing the emotion of this has been my life. This is where I raise my kids. This is where I, watch them go off to college.
Absolutely. There's so many emotions and memories tied to a home. I actually had a closing yesterday for a friend's dad, and I went to deliver his proceeds to him after the settlement had concluded, and he was a little teary-eyed.
Yeah. Anytime you see those clients on the sell side coming to the settlement table, you're like, this is going to be a long one. Which is good too, because it is cool to be able to pass on that emotion to the buyers, oftentimes young families and stuff, and who are going to take that same, emotion through
exactly, and
their ownership,
making new memories in that home and things like that. But it's extremely emotional. And so my role is to make it easier, and make it, as enjoyable as it can be, even though it's inherently a little tough.
Yeah.
A lot of times, right?
It really is. Yeah. And that kind of leads me into my next question I was going to ask was, over the past 5 years, how have you been getting your business? Like, how's it been? You calling leads? Are you doing that? It sounds like you have kind of maybe a little niche there as well, like working with older couples that are selling their home for the first time in many, many years. Is that something you would say you specialize in, or you have that? Is it just been hey, I did it for one person, they referred me so many people? How'd you get into that?
So I do have a specialization for senior relocation and seniors who are downsizing. And I also have, I'm a certified divorce specialist. So
it's so funny.
That's so funny.
Guest in a row that had those same exact.
Really?
Yeah,
and you're the only two that have ever brought that up on the podcast.
Funny.
Yeah.
I think that there's a commonality there though, right? Because people who are going through a divorce, and people who are downsizing after being in a home for a long time are going through a very different type of transaction.
Sure.
Than someone who's selling their investment property or even someone who's buying their first house. It's extremely intimate and sensitive and personal to them. And I think the people who gravitate towards working with those kind of clients are like, we're we're caregivers in a way, you know, and it makes me feel like that's how I'm able to do that. So when I first started selling, I was selling to people in my neighborhood. When I bought my house 11 years ago, I bought from an original owner. There are still many original owners in my neighborhood. And so I had started getting listings from people who had been in their homes for a long time. And I quickly realized that those clients needed a higher level of care and patience and explanation and everything than some of the other types of clients that I might run into. My ex-husband works with a lot of like investors. So my exposure to his type of real estate was very much like turn and burn.
And numbers game. It's a quick game. It's like how quickly can we start
right. And then when you're sitting down with somebody who's, you know, they've raised 5 children in this house, and it's, you know, they're showing you every nook and cranny that they've touched and changed. And here's where my kids' heights were from 30 years ago. You know, it's a very different experience.
Yeah, it's a lot different than saying, hey, sign here and get the check and leave. Like these people want to tell you, but that's totally different.
It's totally different. So I really enjoy working with that population, and I've made a lot of relationships in the senior living space as a result, so that I can provide them with people who have expertise that's beyond just the real estate part. You know, a lot of times people need help with decluttering their home, or last year I sold a property. It was a friend's family member's property, and he was an art collector. So I had to get, you know, an art appraisal done and have the right contacts who are going to be able to come in and appraise the artwork, because there were some really legitimate pieces of art there that were going to be part of the estate, or you know, having people that will do an online estate sale for the family, because the family's dealing with a lot of stuff, whether that person is still living and they're just moving in to either a senior community or moving in with an adult child, or if they've passed away and I'm dealing with the kids, the adult children. They have so much on their plate already. If I can take stuff off of it and handle that part, that's, you know, that just makes it so much better for them and makes that experience more enjoyable.
Yeah, no, wow. I'm interested about this art thing. That's crazy. So you had to, did you have a contact for that already, or did you have to?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I did, because I was very intentional about networking with people who specialized in working with seniors. I had contacts already with an art appraiser, with people who could do the resale. That these folks also had vehicles that needed to be sold. And different things that they might need. There was actually a whole bunch of medical equipment, so I had people that would come and get the medical equipment that could go and be used somewhere else. So you don't really know what you're going to run into and what you're going to need. But I just continue to build those relationships with people, so that when it comes up, then I'm like, oh, I got a guy.
You're ready to go.
And it makes them go, oh, really? You got somebody for that? Okay, this is great.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because it's like things you'd never think of. Like I would never think you would need an art appraiser, but then it makes so much sense, because it's like sometimes a lot of these people have antiques or have things they've been collecting over years, and that's really cool.
And just doing the research on who to use for that takes hours sometimes and days, and calling people and then calling you back
and that's stuff that the family doesn't want to be doing and shouldn't have to be doing.
Especially if their loved one passed away, like that's the last thing
they're already dealing with enough. So it's really great. So my Rolodex of professional partners is something I'm really proud of, and you know, and I have really good relationships with them, and I communicate with them often about making sure that they're, you know, still doing the level of business that they were doing before. And anytime I refer somebody to a client, I also follow up with my client and say, hey, did you have a great experience? Because if they didn't, then I need to find somebody different to put in that spot.
It's a really smart move.
Yeah, I mean, who you refer is a reflection of you.
Exactly.
You know, so, and you know, maybe they were doing a great job for a long time, and then maybe they're getting older and you know, they're not doing it as much or whatever. It's like, you know, staying on top of that is.
Yeah, you would never want to that's like the worst nightmare, is making a recommendation to someone and then they're like, hey, I just got to tell you it was awful. It's like, oh my God.
And at least they told you, like it's even worse if they don't tell you, and then
you
they're
keep sending business,
you know,
to that
behind
person.
the scenes they're cursing you, you'd rather know and be like, oh, that sucks, but you know, thanks for letting me know.
Exactly. Yeah.
That, you know, that hasn't been my experience, and I'll maybe pivot.
Yeah.
So
we've been through that because it's like, just like anything, we have our people appraisers, insurance agents, a lot of that stuff we get asked for. And it's like, it's the same thing. You're constantly vetting everybody you work with, you know, it's the same, like mortgages and realtors too. Realtors are it's like, if we're not doing our job or staying on top of the ball, it's just, you know, you always have to be doing well, because at the end of the day, we have, when you refer us business, we have your reputation in our hands. It's like we take good care of the clients for that reason. I mean, many other reasons, but that's one of them. And it's like, we've heard so many horror stories of people getting referred and it's just not a good experience. And you're like, oh my God, it's a nightmare. But yeah, anyway, so divorce specialist as well. I know. Okay. So you mentioned that. And then I saw the other day, were you on a panel for like luxury real estate? Okay. So what was that about? How did you?
So I am, so at the Keller Williams Bluebell office, I'm on the agent leadership committee, and then or on the agent leadership council, and my role is the luxury committee chairperson. And then something that Keller Williams luxury division has rolled out, they started rolling this out about maybe 2 years ago, is identifying somebody in each market center that is the liaison for Keller Williams Luxury. And so they identified me as that person for Bluebell. So that's my role at the Bluebell office. And essentially what that means is that I would be the person that anyone would come to with questions, first of all, about, you know, luxury real estate in general and in our area. But I also educate other agents and provide experiences and opportunities for agents to learn how to serve those types of clients better. And so what we did was I put together a panel, and there were luxury agents from my office. I was the representative from my office, from Doylestown and from Horsham. And so we had a bunch of questions brought our way just about, from a lot of times it's people asking, how do you break into luxury real estate? What are the things I should know? That sort of stuff. And so we answered questions. It was awesome. We had a full house. There were like 25, 30 people that came. And got a lot of, it ended up being 90 minutes of questions because people had really great questions for us. And it was great. It's awesome to not only like just share what I've done, but to learn from the other agents. There's so many agents that have a totally different experience than I do and that I can learn from.
Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, the only way to keep getting better in this field is to like continuously learn and see things. Sure. It's like, it helps being in this office a lot. You listen to Tom or you listen to you do stuff, and you just kind of pick up from one another, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How was Matt Ott as the moderator? Did he do all right?
Yeah, I love Matt.
Oh, Matt.
I wonder why it was 90 minutes, Matt. Maybe you spoke a little bit too long in between the questions?
He's the best. Matt is my co-luxury chair on the ALC, and he's wonderful.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's been on this podcast, and he's like, how long is it? I'm like, could be really long. He's a chatter. He's a great podcast guest, but we love Matt. I'm just giving him a hard time.
Everybody
he knows that.
Yeah, no, he's a really good guy. Were we drinking on that podcast, dude? Didn't he want like a double or triple IPA or something? He went to something crazy.
Yeah, that was early on in the podcast days. So we started this as like, quote unquote, like a happy hour where you'd come on and like have a beer or cocktail with us, and like we just sit back and chat as if we were sitting at the bar, you know, getting to know each other.
Yeah.
It got to be a lot when you're doing it once a week, and often, I mean, it's Tuesday at 12:30 right now. It's like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'd be like
not the ideal time to have a beer, but when people are like into it, and he was like, can we do whatever? And it ended up being like a double IPA or something like that, which is a high rate.
9%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he chose. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It was fun though. He's the best.
I got to go rewatch that one.
Yeah. We've had people come on, they just like bring cases of stuff, or and it would be like 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, and you're like, dude, I have so much work I have to do. I can't do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, God, for boohoo us though, right?
Yeah, what a rough job.
What a horrible job.
We have gotten away from it a little bit. I should stock the fridge just in case someone,
yeah,
we can always ask somebody about it.
My buddy said to me the other day, he was like, you know, the beginning of this year was pretty slow for me. And I was talking to him, and then I was like, yeah, I was out, you know, golfing with the realtor the other day, and I had to take some realtor to dinner. He goes, dude, shut up. He's like, stop talking, dude. He's like, why do you complain about your job sometimes? What's wrong with you? I was like, yeah, I guess
it's not that bad,
right? No. At the end of the day, I love what I do. I know you do. You really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster like real estate.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's times where you're riding high and you're loving it, and then there's times where you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It keeps it interesting for sure. And I think you guys probably would agree, like your worst day in your job is better than, you know, the best day doing something else. It's definitely the worst day in real estate is better than my best day in a cubicle. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then even like sometimes you just look at like doctors or like anyone whose job is really hard and really important, and you look at ours, you're like,
those people saving lives. Yeah.
Yeah, the people who are like, you know, stitching up vascular, you know, arteries and stuff. So
no fun.
Yeah.
But I had a question about the luxury thing. Like how, what constitutes a luxury property versus a regular property? Like how do you guys make that distinction? And is it different market to market? Because
it is
probably a luxury apartment in San Francisco is probably a little different than a luxury apartment in Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really depends on I guess who you ask and how you're kind of approaching the question. So Keller Williams has their own criteria for what constitutes luxury. And it's just, based on price. So anything in our area, which is, this Montgomery County type of area, is $700,000 and above. Mm-hmm. Now, if you live around here, that there's probably houses that are $700,000 that have pink carpets and paneling.
Yep.
So, it's subjective. I think probably more broadly, people look at it as $1 million and above in this area.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you said, if you go out to, California, $1 million is like,
not luxury.
A shanty.
Unfortunately.
So it depends. But part of the luxury, the whole part of serving luxury clientele, it's really more of like a service level. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that I've been really working to get very clear on what I deliver to my clients. And it all stemmed from that, working with seniors and working with divorce listings and making something easier on them. And we just extend that into the luxury realm. So there's a lot of folks that, I just say, can I just get the keys and give you the easy button and I'll take care of everything. Mm-hmm. And so it's extending white glove service to your clientele. And for me, that means any price point. It doesn't matter if it's, $1 million property or if it's $100,000 row home, like you're going to get the same experience.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I think that's the way to do it too. It's like if you're doing it one way or another, that row home person could be somebody that's buying $1 million home in the future. You never know.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been investors that I've worked with that maybe needed to offload a property that was in Philly or wherever and was a low price point, and then they're like, well, hey, I have 10 more, or
yeah.
or I need to go buy my new home on the main line, and it's like, oh, well,
okay, yeah,
all right, sure,
I can help you out with that too. Yeah,
that's why you never judge a book by its cover. Some of the most innocuous people that I've met or conversations that I've had have turned into multiple pieces of business down the line.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to?
Well, to say in our business, same thing. It's like, you might be doing, $100,000 price point, but then like 2 months later or, 6 months later, it's a refi. Like even if they're not buying another one,
right.
Like we can touch on those people
it turns
a couple
into something
times.
else.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then when they refi a couple times and they're ready to move out, and then they buy another place and they refer your friends and stuff like that.
Right.
So
It's why keeping those relationships and staying in touch with those people is probably so important.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Always staying, like we always say, it touches. You're always touching on people, making sure you're staying in front of them, being sure. in the first in their mind. I've literally had people call me and be like, hey, who do I call about doing a refinance? I'm like, me, you call me. Like I do. Yeah. It's like, so people sometimes people just honestly don't know what they're looking for. And it's like, if there's any way we could provide value, regardless if it's, I've done loans for $50,000 and I've done loans for $1 million plus. It's like, you're going to get the same level of service regardless, like you said. So that's what it really comes down to.
The irony is like, let's say they call and like, hey, who do I call for a plumber or whatever? Like something that you're not like, you're just as happy to make that connection too. You're like, because you got to speak with them, because then, they'll remember you next time.
Absolutely. They know that you're going to be someone that they can look at as a resource, even if it's not for directly what you do professionally. I mean, I tell my clients that too, whenever, especially at the settlement table, I'm like, first of all, you're not getting rid of me. Yeah. I'm going to call you in a week and make sure everything's fine. But also when things come up, I want you to call me, because I'm sure I have somebody that I've already had an experience with that's going to be trustworthy, that will help you. So, and my clients take me up on that. And it's so funny. I've had house related stuff. This year, a new one was I had a client buy a house out in Delaware County, and he called me a couple weeks later and needed someone who could move bees.
Oh,
that's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Like beehives or like honeybees that they're like cultivating?
Bees in the walls, like honeybees like in the walls. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I did get him someone.
Because that's like a specific thing. Like you can't just like
you can't just kill them. No.
Yeah, like that's like a
we got to protect
thing,
the bees. So I found like a reputable bee guy. So
you need a bee guy.
I got your bee guy. But I've had clients. I actually had a client a couple years ago when we were getting their house on the market, but they had 3 kids, and one of the parents was leaving for a conference, and the other one had to work somewhere else. And she called me, and she's like, "Do you have like a babysitter that could come over here and like
that's my brain.
Get my kids on the bus and stuff?" And I was like, "Actually,
that's so fun.
I got someone, and it ended up being my babysitter that babysits my kids, and she went over there, and she was fabulous." So really, like, I want to be a resource forever for my clients for all things, you know. And if I don't have somebody for that, it's an opportunity for me to also reach out to my trusted people and say, "Who do you know? Who can you introduce me to that's going to be somebody that I can put into my world and keep them, you know, as my go-to person for this service
for bees?" Yes,
for bees.
Like, that's wow.
And it does feel good to pass that along too. Like, even if you're quote unquote like not getting anything else out of like referring them to a plumber or whatever, it's like, but I know that plumber does a great job. He's done a great job for me. Like, I want that guy to have more business. Like, I want him to thrive as well.
And everything comes back to,
we get a lot of our business from realtors, and it's hard to reciprocate that because people don't come to us first. They come to realtors and then realize they need a mortgage person. And oftentimes it's like, "I'm sorry, I can't give you, you know, more clients," and they just don't come to our way. But like, if we're doing a refi and you send us that, you know, that client for the purchase, it's like, we're gonna make sure that your title company that you referred that time gets that title the second time around, you know, things like that. Just like like trying to do as much to pass the buck. And
100%. And it's like any clients we get that are shopping around for realtors, it makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm able to like say thank you to this person. Like, finally I can give them, or like if they call us with problems, it's almost like you get so many referrals in this business, and that's what it's all really based off of. When you're able to actually give a referral out to somebody else, it almost feels good. It feels like you're giving back to like the zeitgeist almost, you know? Hey, you like that one? Huh?
It all comes back to you too, you know, like that's just like a mindset thing. But when you're just doing the right thing and you're doing good by other people, like that comes back.
Yeah, definitely.
And so like you should just give that out freely.
Yeah, 100%, without a doubt. Yeah, no, it's one of my biggest goals for next year is just to stay positive mentality and like, you know, what do they call it? Speak it into existence.
Yes. So I'm very woo-woo when it comes to that stuff. I believe that's really how it works. Like, I never envisioned some of the things that I've accomplished, but because I've had coaches that have helped me with that, I feel like that makes a difference.
No, it 1000% like is true. It makes a difference. It's like whatever the science is behind it, or if it's just as simple as like you think about something, and the more you think about it, the more you do it, and the more you do it, it becomes a reality. But like, it's true. It is what happens. You just have to be very serious about it. You know, that's the thing.
You have to really believe, you know, what you're telling yourself. I learned that before I really was in real estate. So in a previous life, I was a competitive bodybuilder.
Okay.
Oh, I saw some CrossFit stuff on your Instagram.
Yeah. So, and I like mentally prepared as much as I physically prepared. And when I was going into like my final run where I was, I had prepped for 8 months, and I had 2 shows back to back, and I had really like gotten myself mentally where I was like, I am just here to collect my trophy. Like, that was it. Like, I wasn't even worried about what anybody else did. And I did. And I went in there and collected my trophy twice back to back.
That's incredible.
You know what? Like, I think there's really like, the more you believe in your ability and you believe that like, this is for you and you deserve it and you worked for it, like you can do anything.
100%.
Yeah.
And when we talk about bodybuilding, we mean like you're going up on stage and like posing and everything. Damn, that's good for you, because I could never stay that strict to a calorie deficit for that long.
I was probably very not fun to be around.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, you were ripped though.
I was.
Yeah.
Until the day after the competition, and then I had like, you know, crumble cookie and whatever, and then the abs were gone immediately.
It's so hard to maintain any sort of physique like that. Like that's like
and
unbelievable.
It's definitely not meant to be maintained year round either.
No,
but for the competition it is, and it's a test of like how stubborn you are, and like how what's the word I'm looking for? Like how determined and how disciplined.
Dedicated.
Disciplined and dedicated you can be.
That's really it. Yeah, that's what it all boils down to.
How much of a glutton for punishment you are.
Yeah. And now you do CrossFit though too, right? You're over. What gym are you part of?
So I go to CrossFit Generation in Horsham.
That's it. Yeah, because they have that competition every summer. I think I DM'd you about that too. We talked about that.
SummerSlam's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not anywhere near good enough to compete in that, but I do volunteer every year.
No, I'm not.
Neither is Mike. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that. Neither am I. But a lot of my guys from the gym that I used to go to, and might be going back to, is they compete in that like every year.
It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, they have one of like just little plug for CrossFit Generation. They have like the best and one of the biggest CrossFit competitions in the whole like southeastern PA region. When people come for that, I mean, they get like 40, 50 teams, like 40, 50 gyms. We have people that come from Maryland and Jersey, and like people come far to be at that competition every summer. So they're the best.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have one more thing, and it's from way back in the beginning of the podcast. So you said previous life you were in marketing.
Yes.
Right? So how does that help you now? And like, how has that shifted over the last 5 years? Because I feel like that's one of the things that we've shifted over the last 5 years.
Massively.
Sure. I mean,
and with social media and podcast and stuff like that, like, and probably a lot different than what you were doing previously, but I'm sure that helped you.
Yeah, I think that it definitely helped. The thing with marketing is you're tapping into how people think. And so I try to use what I learned from my years. I had about 12, 13 years in marketing before I was in real estate. So what I learned from how to get people to take action is certainly something that I use in my marketing, in my day-to-day conversations with people. And really, like, I think it makes a big difference in how you just approach every conversation. At the end of the day, like every conversation that somebody's having with me about real estate, everybody should feel like a winner. And I think that's a marketing tactic, or it's something that I've learned in my previous career of how to, just give people options and make sure that they feel good at the end of the day and they feel good moving forward. And then part of that is just that hand in hand with relationships and making people feel safe and feel heard and feel like you're speaking to them. Because marketing, a big part of that too, is like, you can't just like spray and pray type of marketing, like you're not for everyone. I know who my ideal client is, down to the nitty gritty details of, like how many children they have and how much money they make and how much equity they have in their home. And I could give you that persona. And I know that when I'm doing any type of marketing, that is the person that I'm envisioning that I'm speaking to.
Okay, cool.
So having a background in marketing certainly helps. Now I'm an elder millennial, so
Me too.
There you go.
so I'm not as good on some of social media. Like I don't have TikTok at all.
Me neither. Yeah.
My daughter's in middle school and she thinks this is a travesty. And she's like, that's depressing. But I don't. I, like all elder millennials, I watch TikTok videos on Facebook after they've been posted.
Yeah.
Isn't that what all the old people do? But I do. But here's the thing: my clients aren't really on TikTok.
Yeah, as I say, that's not your.
My clients are usually older than me.
Facebook, though.
They're on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're usually older than me. So Facebook is a big thing for me. Instagram and I do a lot of mail marketing.
Yeah.
Postcards but really like belly to belly is like number one.
Yeah.
Like, I know myself. I'm best face to face with people. And so I spend a lot of time because you had asked me early on, if I had, where does my business come from? I've never bought leads. I don't think that converting a lead that's a stranger is probably the best course for me. It does work for a lot of agents. But my business is completely built on relationships. It's going out and networking, meeting people, giving them, referring them to people, introducing them to people, being really involved in my community, being involved in my neighborhood, in my kids' school, in my CrossFit gym, and being belly to belly and just letting people see that I'm a human being that just really wants to help them with a need that they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you want to touch on anything else? Or?
That's why we started this podcast.
Yeah.
So we're belly to belly with people that we, do business with. And want to do business
with.
So.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just interesting people who are nice and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, that's a plus too. Yeah. For sure.
I think that's it for me.
Yeah. Have you thought of a win by chance or no?
Well, so it's sort of a win.
All right, let's hear it.
So this Friday, I will be going to West Palm Beach for the Luxury Symposium Conference for Keller Williams. So it's awesome. It's really awesome. I went last year when it was in San Diego. This will be my second year going as the Market Center liaison for Keller Williams Luxury. It's really great because it gives me the opportunity to be with like the top luxury agents from around the world that are Keller Williams agents.
That's really cool.
It's super cool. Just learning from these people that you see. I mean, they're like, $1 million listing type people, right? So they are some of the agents that I've met through last year's conference, they're selling $50 million properties in different parts of the country. And what's interesting is that people, a lot of people are moving to places that I never would have expected. So I also refer those folks business. So last year, I referred to agents in Vermont and in California and even one in Uruguay, because we have a Keller Williams office there. And I had a client that was thinking about moving there.
Very interesting.
So that is my win, is that I'm going to be able to connect with the people that are going to help me grow my business and grow my relationships this weekend. And I'll bring some sunshine back from Florida with me.
Very awesome. Maybe don't come back. Check the weather before you come back.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a very cool opportunity. And it's got to be like a little starstrucky, like being in front of these people who.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean,
I think I would be.
I think last year was the first year I went, and I definitely had a little bit of imposter syndrome going on as soon as I was there. And I was like, they have like, thousands and thousands of dollars suits on. And I'm like, got my stuff at Marshall's.
Shout out Marshall's.
I hope nobody could tell, but going into it, having been there, honestly, it really made it so clear to me that people are just people.
Yeah.
Oh,
and all these agents that I met and built relationships with are so down to earth and wonderful. And I was going through my divorce when I went last year. So I connected with a lot of women at that conference that were just like, I have been in your shoes.
Oh, okay.
And they were so kind.
You got something out of it that you didn't expect to. It's not even a real estate thing.
I almost didn't go because it was so raw, and it was just the beginning of that process. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go and get out of this space for a little bit. And if anything, it'll be a distraction. And it ended up being such a blessing that I went, because I met some amazing, amazing people that we've kept in touch all year and have been we have a group text that we're all so excited to see each other
cool.
this weekend.
That's cool.
So that is my win. I can't wait to go.
And you get a little bit of break from here and the kids and real life.
So thankfully I have a great support system here. So my kids will be just fine, well taken care of while I'm away. And I will be, networking and laying by the pool, hopefully.
Our kids love when we go away. They're like, when are you leaving?
Yeah.
Nanny's coming over. And they know there's no rules when Nanny's over.
Oh, yeah. I have Nana, and she is going to take great care of them while I'm away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Do you want to go ahead and plug yourself one more time?
Sure. And thank you so much for having me.
This
has been so
that was
much fun.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. And I don't know how to plug myself. I'm Sarah Gabriel from Keller Williams Real Estate in Bluebell. And
awesome. What's your Instagram?
Yeah.
My Instagram is at Sarah_Gabriel_realtor.
Awesome.
That's where you can find me.
Perfect.
All right.
Check her out.
Thanks again for coming on.
Thank
Happy Friday and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye.
Thank
Peace.
you.
Vacation is an last resort.